It is so bad, I want to give you a 0, but that's not possible. So I give you a 1.
This can't be right. It would be very embarrassing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Mo to Write. I'm your host Lola Offenback, and let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to Mo to Write, the official Writing at Moravian podcast.
Today I want to talk a little bit about the lore of the Writing Center and where Writing Centers originated from, how they used to function, and kind of how that has led to a lot of current day misconceptions about what the Writing Center does for students. There are so many misconceptions about the Writing Center, and in today's episode, I want to explore how tutoring really works and how we got to this point. So a little bit on the history of Writing Centers. According to the Middle East Technical Institute, the first U.S. Writing Centers were founded in the 1930s, and they were known as writing labs and writing clinics. They mostly helped students with their grammar and were especially targeted at freshman students. And then in the 1940s, the number of writing centers started to grow, and that helped prepare officers for the Second World War. Then leading into the 1960s, open admissions in universities allowed schools to provide free writing services, which is what we provide now. And those were targeted at low-income students and underprepared students. They also supported athletes and veterans. Then, leading into the 1970s and 80s, writing centers underwent a really big change with the influx of international students. And this kicked off a whole new set of skills for writing tutors, learning how to navigate with new languages and dialect barriers. This is something that's still reigning through today, and Moravian actually just launched our multilingual writing center. So for any of our international students or even students with English as a second language, they can come and use that resource as well. Today, writing centers have definitely completed a 180 from how they operated in the 1930s, and I think Stephen North really captures the true essence of what writing centers are today. In his 1984 article titled "The Idea of a Writing Center," he proposed that in a writing center, the object is to make sure that writers, and not necessarily their texts, are what get changed by instruction. Our job is to produce better writers, not better writing. These old writing practices have created years of misconception through media and word of mouth in higher education, and it's made many students disinterested in coming to the writing center at all. I know how easy it is to think that because you don't have a good draft, you can't come to the writing center. Or maybe you're on the flip side where you have a completed draft and you feel like you are a really good writer and you don't understand how a consultant could help you at all. So today, like I said, I want to break down some of those barriers and talk through some of the key values of Moravian's Writing Center. So I used a lot of findings from Rebecca Babcock's article, Writing Center Theory and Research, a Review. She identifies many key concepts that are used in writing centers today, and I pulled out the top 4 that really resonate with Moravian's Writing Center and its values. So to start, collaborative learning is definitely at the forefront of every Writing Center session that we have. The tutor and the student are equal, and they're working together towards a common goal that we establish. Donald McAndrew and Thomas Riegstad explained that collaborative learning organizes people not just to work together on common projects, but more importantly, to engage in a process of intellectual, social, and personal negotiation that leads to collective decision-making. And I think it's really beneficial that tutors are also students. It helps a 2D come into the writing center and have an easier dialogue with the tutor. I think there's a lot more pressure when you're working with a faculty member to kind of perform in a certain way. You're trying to fit a certain mold and present yourself as professional and as kind and organized and all of the above. Versus when you're working with another student, there's a bit more comfortability because you are on a more level, equal playing field. And both tutor and tutee are working together, and it opens the session a lot to question, probe, and discuss the work together. Babcock also talks about the postmodernist social constructivism theory, which says that knowledge doesn't exist out there, but rather is constructed through individual and group communication. So in the Writing Center, and then even at Moravian and in higher education as a whole, we construct our own expectations, and one of those is like a very modern, very academic style of English writing in higher education. Each Writing Center session takes on a blend of the professor, the assignment, the consultant, and the student's expectations for that assignment and the session. And that makes each individual session so uniquely different. Even if you're coming in to work on the same project, if you're working with a different Writing Center consultant, then the vibes in the session can be completely different. And you can be more productive, less productive, or just different types of productive during that session. And this can be really liberating for students that are coming to the center because it definitely gives more autonomy over the appointment and the expectations that are set for it. Babcock's theory on the tutoring encounter explains that the tutor and the tutee being different with unique backgrounds, different subject matter knowledge, and expectations can benefit a session. Through the interactions and conversations that the two have, they can set the tone for that session and guide the session to the most productive outcome. And then lastly, Babcock's theory of threshold concepts is one that Moravian's consultants know all too well. The theory states that novices must grasp certain foundational concepts when entering a discipline, and writing consultants at Moravian are trained on these concepts so that they're equipped to help students. Even if those students don't necessarily have the foundation, the writing consultant is able to imbue their knowledge on the student and help guide them to great writing outcomes. So Babcock points out that in writing studies, the main concepts are writing is an activity and a subject of study. Writing speaks to situations through recognizable forms. Writing enacts and creates identities and ideologies. All writers have more to learn, and writing is always a cognitive activity. Moravian's Writing Center tutors take English 213.2, which is a training course that equips them with the concept knowledge that I just said, and it prepares them to best assist students on campus with their writing. During that course, students delve into the threshold concepts, bad ideas on writing, working with students from different disciplines and from different dialects, code meshing, and many other topics that prepare them to work with our students. So overall, each of our consultants want to help you become the best writer that you can be. They don't want to just help you with one particular assignment or just correct your grammar. They're not here to just help you get an A. They're here to help you actually grow and learn and become the best writer you can be. Even if you feel like you're not a good writer, quote unquote, there's still so much for you to learn. Even if you think you are like a really good writer, there's always something. Our writing consultants are definitely here to help you at any stage of the process, to help you brainstorm ideas, develop a draft, integrate sources, help with citations and MLA style, different other formats, help with like revisions, feedback from instructors, so many things that we can help you with. And I really hope that this episode helped to break down some of these misconceptions that you might have about the Writing Center, and hopefully it makes you more excited to come book an appointment with us and work with a consultant. The Writing Center and our staff are here to help you become the best writer you can be, and we look forward to working with you at any stage of the process. So if you're interested in making an appointment, you can book at WC Online with one of our consultants. Thank you for listening to Mo to Write.